Hello, everyone, and welcome to Consverse. This session is called IXCloud. Compliance recording for Teams has never been more simple. And our presenter today is Michael Levy. Michael, have a wonderful session.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And as I get started, just to tell you that I will be doing a quick journey through compliance recording, just to fill you in on a little bit of the nuances and subtleties, and then I'll be going into a short demo. So as we get started into this, I'd like to firstly thank all the sponsors and organizers of this event. It takes a team to put this on, and everybody has been outstanding. And it's really been an honor to be associated with all these fine companies that are part of this show or this event. And it is in this ever new evolving world. What I am going to do as well in my next slide is just do some housekeeping for home presentations. So I take no responsibility for any barking dogs in the background, leaf blowers, noisy kids, and perhaps unexpected visitors. So please forgive me if we occur or any of those occur within the session. With that said, I'm going to firstly start and just take you through the Mnemonics Microsoft journey and how we've been involved since the beginning. So Mnemonics has been involved with Microsoft from the days of Lync, where we were qualified by Microsoft for Lync and had a comprehensive solution on premise to record Lync interactions. We then moved into the Skype for Business space and were one of the first certified on Skype for Business and the only certified partner to have a solution for Skype for Business online. Then moving to the Teams space, Mnemonics originally started with a solution for direct routing, and now using the compliance recording APIs, we have a comprehensive cloud-based solution, which I'm going to go into now and give you more information on. So firstly, just to touch a little bit on recording, and a big question often is, do I need to record? So the standard or biggest unanswered question is you only really know you need recording when you need recording. So often you might get into an interaction that you say afterwards, oh, I wish I was recording that. So although we do have various verticals that recording is predominant in, such as finance and utilities and healthcare now more often with telemedicine and the auto industry, we have found typically now that it is really a flat vertical. So you're able to really require recording in any possible market. Some of the drivers that we've seen have been compliance, verification, liability, and analytics. And discussing a little bit more now about IXCloud, I will fill you in a little bit on the premise of being a capture engine that enables analytics as well. So we're going into IXCloud, which is the new product released by Mnemonics. IXCloud is a native Azure multi-tenant solution or platform as a service. So what we do is through IXCloud, we enable native Teams recording as well as Skype for Business in a hybrid scenario, as well as make available developer solutions through our capture engines and APIs. We also allow it to be a compliant repository for providers, as you can bring in calls and re-encrypt them and store them within our cloud. And then the hybrid element where you can record anything that typically needs some on-premise piece of software to capture and then stream or send those calls directly into the cloud for storage, organization, and playback. And then further to the element of analytics, make it available through an API to any third-party analytics platform or the analytics that we are providing and will be providing through IXCloud. A little bit about compliance recording and what we offer within IXCloud. So we offer 256-bit AES encryption. Every call is encrypted in its own unique encryption key, so it's not platform-based or tenant-based. We also have a digital signature on each call that validates it. So if anyone claims that a call has been tampered with, it proves authenticity and tamper-proofing. There are also granular roles and permissions to allow or disallow people access to parts of the system, as well as restrict access to certain calls as well. So give really explicit permissions on who can access what, as well as what I will show you during the demo is the ability to only securely share links to calls, so you're never physically sending a copy of a call out the system. Other compliance features are call search and playback restrictions, audit trail, and PCI audit audio suppression. We also have an additional element to the platform, which is performance evaluation. So using speech to text analytics, searching through calls for what was said, as well as future elements coming, which include keyword flagging and other more machine learning based analytics as well, including post-call redaction. We also have a built-in quality management evaluation tool so that you can do manual quality evaluations. So going back to IXCloud and specifically for Teams, we remove the constraints of physical hardware. So for recording Teams using the API, no hardware, no software anywhere within the enterprise. It's a fully managed solution in the cloud. So no hardware, no software to manage, and it's enabled within 5 to 10 minutes. One of my colleagues, Evan Kahan, is having sessions during this conference as well, which he goes into greater depth on the provisioning and how simple it is to configure users to recording or giving a compliance recording policy to users. So you also get the benefit of instant and hyperscale. So different to a typical virtual dedicated instance or an on-premise instance where you need to scale up and down users. In this case, you would simply add those users to the platform and the user elastically and the system elastically scales up and down. It also provides all the good security and compliance. There's regional storage for data sovereignty, as well as the bot appearing in regional areas so that you have your recordings staying within your region at all given times. It's an API-driven platform, and we are releasing a new element to the platform later in the year, which is bring your own storage, which enables a customer to bring their own Azure storage blob into the platform so those calls remain within their custody at all times. Going a little step backwards into our hybrid integrations, besides Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business, Mnemonics has integrations into just about every other UC platform. This assists the digital transformation journey for customers who are still using a PBX and want to migrate slowly. Some users to Teams, some users retained on their existing or legacy technology. You can consolidate all those users into one central unified experience for the company. Just to show you a little bit of the topology or architecture of hybrid, there would be a small connector being local to that local deployment, and then that would record locally and send it to the cloud where it would be stored alongside all those native Teams recorded calls. Another method for recording Teams other than using the APIs are direct routing, and we support direct routing either through port mirroring an SVC that does not support SIPREC or through a SIPREC stream to IXCloud, either through our server or later through our native Azure recorder built into the service fabric of Azure. And now using the compliance recording APIs, a complete cloud-based solution without anything required on-premise or within anyone's network. With that being said, I'm going to move now and switch screens to a browser so that I can show you a demo. I'm moving off that now. So I'm going to log into a demo instance of the system now. We use a single use code, which I will have to now recover from a second screen, which should be available in a second. So we are completing our Azure integration shortly, which will allow you to do a single sign-on with Microsoft and an Azure integration. But in this case, we're inputting a single use unique code, which will allow you to access the system. And when you access the system, it will be based on those user roles and permissions that have been configured for you by your administrator of your system. The main screen that you're going to access when you hit the cloud platform is a dashboard of widgets. We do have a few widgets at the moment regarding call activity, and over the course of the next few months, we will be rolling out more widgets based on call activity, as well as based on some of the additional analytics that we are bringing into the platform. Rolling into the call listing page, which is a really unique visualization of searching for calls relative to the typical recording systems. We also designed it in such a way that you're able to recover and find calls really quick and easy. So we make a free-form search available, so you can search by any particular metadata that is available for the calls, as well as if you're using the speech-to-text analytics, you're able to search through the calls by what was said as well. So on a general basis, so you can go and find a specific date range and time range. So if I want to go back a couple weeks and I'm searching for a date range and time range by an agent, caller name, caller numbers, priorities, flags that you're using for calls. And then you can also go and say, for example, I want to search for if anyone has said the word jump. You could input that and find those calls in those scenarios. Your calls would then be presented to you within the screen. And if you simply wanted to play them back, you could expand the view, you hit the play button, and the call will stream back to you through the system. You can at any point skip forward to the call, to any particular part of the call, and you do have a timer or a timestamp on that play bar where you can move ahead to a part of the conversation. Further to that, for Teams, we've also written an algorithm that enables you to record in dual channel, which means that you record the agent in one channel and all the other parties on another channel, so that you're able to get better transcription and speaker separation. In this case, now I have the call. There are some additional features and functionality that are available, such as downloading a call. Now, this is all driven by permissions. So many companies these days are restricting the ability to download an unencrypted call from the system. So you can disable that. So you can disable it for all users or some users based on permissions. Based on this feature that we have, most companies we're talking to these days are disabling it and enabling this shareable link. So what the shareable link does is have the ability, whether it be external or internal, but if you're just sharing it with a secure password, you can select a public access. You can also then say how long you want to be able to share that call for. You can input a password to the call, so it has a unique access password to it, and I can see there by identifying it, I would have had that incorrect. So I have a password on that. You can email it directly through the shareable link, or you can simply copy that shareable link to a clipboard and then utilize it in an email or IM or anything you want. I'm going to continue, and when I log out later, I will show you a view of how to access that shareable link. Further than that, you can also go into the call in more details, and as you can see, there's no switching amongst screens. You simply would expand windows in the screen, so that it enables you to be able to access everything centrally without moving around. You now have that waveform appearing here. If you do record in dual channel, you will have two waveforms and have the ability to mute either side of the conversation if you wanted to get more detail on one side. So for example, in an environment where one party is talking, the other party is silent, but there's a dog barking in the background, you could mute that side out so you could hear it more clearly. Further to that, at the bottom of the call, you also have the automatic transcription that's available. And what you can do is you can also search through that transcription by specific words. So I'm searching for the word living, and you can see over here, there's the word living. It happened at 3 minutes and 55 seconds into the call. And if I simply wanted to go directly to this particular part of the call, I can simply hit that and it will take me exactly to that part of the call where that was said. So really quick, really easy to enable you to identify and locate parts of the conversation that are important for you to locate. You also have the ability to set priorities on the call and statuses as well if you're using it for the quality management. I'm going to also now go back and show you a little more as far as the the maintenance side, or let's call it admin side of the system. So if we're going into the admin side of the system, you can see you have your users that are saved within the system. You have your roles. And as I mentioned earlier, the roles, they deal with different permissions that you assign to different types of users. So you can create your own roles within the system. So if I'm opening the root admin, you'll see all the roles that are assigned to root admin. So you can restrict or create your own roles with fewer or more permissions. We also have a concept called profiles, and what profiles are really rules. And there are different types of profiles. For example, in this case, this root administrator profile is a security profile. And that security profile, in fact, I'm going to go back and show you if I create a profile, if I, for example, add a profile and I choose a security profile, that will give me the ability to add roles to a profile and permissions to a profile. If I want to create a recording profile, that is a profile based on retention. So I can create multiple profiles on retention. So if you have different types of users in the organization that require different retention policies, you can create these grand profiles, which you can then go to the groups. And when you've created a group, you can then go and assign those profiles to different types of groups. So you're basically assigning different internal policies that are applied to those groups. So for example, I have root administrator here in the group. Within that group, I can see now for root administrator, it has two profiles, which are based on security, so permissions. There are no recording profiles, which are based on retention. And then we also have a user who is associated in that group as well. So very simple to administrate users and rules, as well as this will be able to be integrated into Active Directory as well. And other profiles that will be available as well are recording rule profiles. So for example, I only want to record inbound and outbound PSTN calls. I want to record meetings only. So those are some of the additional profiles that will be created, as well as the profiles that determine whether you want to record audio only or audio and screen sharing or audio, screen sharing and video as well. Targets in the system are those endpoints that are targeted for recording. And then we have the concept called endpoints, which relate to the integrations that are centralized into this tenant for a customer. So if you look in this particular instance here, I am recording Teams, so I have the Teams endpoint in here. But let's say our company was on a migration path from another platform or Skype for Business on-prem, and we had a hybrid installation. I would have a Skype for Business endpoint created for certain users so that those users' calls would be stored, cataloged, and available within this platform as well as the Teams recorder. So when those users moved over to Teams, it would be absolutely seamless with no business interruption or downtime for those users as well. Other features as well are comprehensive audit trails and configurations which allow you to determine, for example, which widgets or which widgets are available within the main dashboard for different types of users in the platform. Our roadmap is robust. It includes integrations into Dynamics, into Salesforce, Active Directory, bring your own storage, analytics, machine learning based analytics, post-call redaction for PCI, on demand within the browser. And something else is also an in-Teams experience where we're moving this experience to within the Teams client as well, so that users are able to access everything via the Teams client. And that concludes the demo at this point. I believe we are going to open up to any questions that were during the call or during this session, and I'd be glad also to answer questions afterwards within the breakout session.
Well, thank you, Michael. You did such a great job explaining that we don't have any questions today. And
Wonderful.
plus, that's all the time we have for this session. If you would like to speak with Michael following this session, you can find him in the session breakout area and check the Q&A for the link. And I'll post that now. And I just appreciate everyone watching, and have a wonderful day. And I'll post that just here in 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, perfect. All right, thanks again, Michael. Great presentation. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.